As we all know, Donald Trump has basically attempted to undo so many of the laws and norms and customs and normalcy of the United States. He is illegally cracking down on protesters. He is rounding up people, locking them away without any kind of due process, shipping them out of the country. And all of this, according to the judges that have eventually overseen these cases, is not legal. And the person he has basically put in charge of all of his, according to the courts again, illegal activities is none other than Attorney General Pam Bondi. And I actually have good news. Pam Bondi, as Attorney General of the United States, is so bad at her job. She is so incompetent and so stupid that her complete lack of abilities might be what saves America. And we're seeing it happen right now in front of grand juries all over the country. We're seeing it in California. We're seeing it in Washington, D.C., where Bondi's prosecutors, Trump-appointed prosecutors, are going in front of a grand jury, presenting a clearly one-sided case where the defense isn't allowed to say anything. They don't even know what's happening. And in 7 different high-profile cases in D.C. and California, these grand juries have listened to these Trump and Bondi-approved prosecutors, and the grand jury says, nope, we're not going to do it. This is prosecutorial overreach. You are trying to take misdemeanors and turn them into capital offenses, basically. You're making felonies out of something that typically cops wouldn't even stop you for. And the grand juries are looking at the administration lie to them and saying, we're not going to do it. And this all comes back to Pam Bondi's incompetence. And it's an incompetence that we should all be thankful for. Because if he had put somebody actually qualified in that position, somebody that knew what they were doing, somebody that understands how to prosecute, then, we might be looking at a very different situation right now. We would definitely be looking at more people facing felony charges. We would be looking at all sorts of, restrictions on our, liberties that were granted by the Constitution. But Bondi is so bad at her job that even when they try to take away our rights, even when they try to lock us up for nothing, it's not working. And the funniest thing about this, it's exactly what I predicted. Now, everybody knew, and I think plenty of other people predicted this too, right? But we knew going into the second Trump administration, he was not going to make the mistake of his first administration. Because in his first administration, he picked mostly yes men and women, but he picked a couple people that ended up not being completely yes men or women, but they had some competence, right? Like, sure, they'll go along with most of what Trump says, but eventually they'll kind of push back a little bit. But they were competent enough to carry out his deepest, darkest desires. They just didn't always do it. Now, in the second administration, we knew that competency was no longer on the table. He wasn't going to pick competent people. He wanted stupid, spineless slates so that whatever he wrote on that slate would happen. The problem is when you throw intelligence and competence out the window, you end up with nothing but loyalty, but the inability to do the horrible things you want to do. They're too stupid to follow the orders, even when they're trying to follow the orders. So he did this to himself, right? He wants to be this dictator. He wants to be the authoritarian leader, but he's being held back by the dumbasses like Pam Bondi that he has put in charge of it. And that, folks, believe it or not, is something that we should all be very thankful for. Thanks for watching, everyone. We're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.